Hey everyone, today we're checking out the Deluxe Marvel Legends Lizard, aka Dr. Curt Connors. And as you know, I recently reviewed Red She-Hulk and the variant Sentinels, both pretty hype releases. But now we're getting into the big one, Lizard, one of Spider-Man's most iconic and recurring villains. Starting with the box, it looks very slick. Up front, you got a retro Spider-Man logo, plus a bold Doom word collage in both very dark and medium dark green on a black background, and these shading variations carry throughout the packaging. Looks great. As for the left side, there's an awesome comic style shot of Lizard battling Spider-Man in the alley. The right side gives you a close-up of Lizard's face. Then around back, you get a character bio and a full-scale artwork of Lizard vs. Spider-Man, along with some orange Doom text. Then there's more of that collage here at the top and a retro Spidey logo. Then a standard bottom. Overall, very nicely done. Let's check out the secondary head sculpt, which honestly looks awesome. Right away, the reptilian aggressive look stands out, and is executed really well. You'll notice it's slightly shorter than the other head sculpt, which makes sense, since it has an angry expression, and with an angry expression, the muscles contract, making the features more pronounced and intense. Therefore, the sculpt definitely nails that effect. On another note, the green base color is solid, and the scaly reptilian skin has a rough, rugged, pebbled texture that looks fantastic. A1 work for sure. The head is broad with a heavy brow ridge, and the snout is nicely done. And the narrow predatory eyes really sell the menace, with black pupils and yellow irises that push the sinister predatory look even further. There's also a strong dark wash around the brow and the top of the head that adds great additional detail. Moreover, the mutated jagged teeth are elongated and highly exposed, which really drives home that full-on rage and attack mode. You can see that the top row is off-white, more so than the bottom row, and both look razor sharp. The pink gums, tongue, and roof of the mouth are well done too, with nice sculpting on the palate and even a tonsil at the back of the throat, which is a cool detail. Overall, everything comes together to give this head sculpt a seriously menacing, well-executed look. It works perfectly for attack poses, really emphasizing that the character is possibly about to go on a savage rampage. As for the tail, the sculpting is excellent, as the scaly reptilian texture really pops. Very nice work. The green base color looks solid, and there's a heavy dark wash on the tail that brings out the detail even more. And as you saw just recently, the underside is without any wash, keeping it fully green. Articulation-wise, the sections swivel nicely. And the first hinge allows the second section of the tail to move up and down. And the last hinge allows the third part to pivot, giving you some good posing options. Also, the first and second sections are solid, while the third part has a bit of flexibility to it, which is a nice touch. Now let's check out the main head sculpt, and yeah, it's just as impressive as the secondary one. Right away, you'll notice the face is longer and neutral in expression. That's because this one's calm and not in attack mode, so the muscles are relaxed instead of contracted. The green base color is clean and well done, and the reptilian skin has that same coarse, rugged, pebbled texture that looks great here too. The snout, teeth, and heavy brow structure all look solid, and the eyes have a cool whitish silver finish that really works. There's also a dark wash on the brow. Then there's a dark wash on the top of the head, which flows down onto the back and sides of the neck, where it gets a bit deeper in tone. And the scaly sculpting on the neck looks just as good as it does on the head, tying everything together really nicely. With this head sculpt, the mouth is articulated, which allows you to pull down the lower jaw. The teeth are cleanly arranged and noticeably shorter on this relaxed, neutral head sculpt, compared to the longer, wild ones on the attack head sculpt. Also, the fleshy pink tones on the tongue, roof of the mouth, and base of the mouth all look great, just as they do on the other head sculpt. The tongue even has some slightly darker pink shading to boost the definition, which is a nice touch. And the palate, aka roof of the mouth, is also nicely sculpted, staying consistent with the rest of the mouth details. Overall, this head sculpt is phenomenal too, and it really pops. And it basically has a controlled, calculated menace that really works, making it perfect for a tense, intimidating pose. The body sculpt is large and monstrous, and it really sells the design. As for the outfit, it looks dope overall. His signature 3-pocket white lab coat hangs open like always, and is completely wrecked in a good way. You can see tons of holes and rips on the collar and sleeves, which are also frayed at the edges. And the top section of the coat's opening are also beat up. Essentially, the damage detailing is awesome. There's also a couple of holes on the back, and heavy damage along the bottom, including big patches of dirt on the fringes. Very nice. The creases look great too. Seriously, nice work. The black shirt is also heavily tattered with big rips, plus there's some cool tiny pieces lining the upper rim. The creases are nice, and you can see the scaly pec muscles underneath, which are nicely sculpted, and they have a deep dark wash. The arms and hands keep that same scaly texture, and the dark wash on them really brings out the details. Also, I'm a big fan of the horizontal plating on the forearms as well. It looks very good. The purple pants look great too, and the damage work is seriously dope. The orange button looks good, and the holes, rips, and creases are really well done, just like on the lab coat. The scaly detailing continues down the legs and feet, along with more of that slick plating on the lower legs and feet. Also, there's a dark wash on the thigh areas, lower legs, the feet, and the soles. However, it's not as apparent on the knees. Overall, this is an amazing figure in both sculpt and color finish, and the torn up outfit really sells the brutal wear and tear from Connor's violent transformations. Alright, comparison time, which is one of my favorite parts. As you can see right away, one of the biggest differences is that the new version of Lizard is much larger compared to the retro version. As you know, both figures are comic based. However, the deluxe Lizard is directly inspired by Todd McFarlane's interpretation of the character, and the artwork you saw earlier on the packaging is McFarlane's comic work. In McFarlane's run, Lizard is portrayed as much larger and far more monstrous than in earlier comic incarnations, and that really shows here. As a result, this deluxe figure is noticeably bigger and bulkier when placed next to the retro Lizard. And with the hunchback and bent legs, the figure looks even more animalistic and predatory, whereas the retro figure is basically fully upright and still carries a lot of humanoid qualities. Basically, the deluxe figure's exaggerated anatomy and overall monstrous design are hallmarks of McFarlane's comic style. In contrast, the retro version is a callback to earlier comics, where Lizard was depicted as less monstrous and far less imposing. Alright, let's talk head sculpts, and I'm using the second head sculpt for retro Lizard as it looks really cool with the tongue. So as you can see, both versions almost share the same classic Lizard green as the base color, but the deluxe version is just a tad bit darker. But where things really change is in the scales. The retro Lizard has some nicely done scaly segments that look solid and clean. That said, the deluxe Lizard takes it up a notch, as the sculpting is exceptional, with scale detail so tiny it almost looks granular. Now, when it comes to the wash, the retro version has a dark wash all over the head and neck, pretty much settling deep between all the scales. The new version takes a different approach, with the wash being on the brow, the top of the head, and along the back and sides of the neck. Eye-wise, the new version goes with those whitish silver eyes, while the old one sticks to the classic reptilian slit pupils. The retro Lizard also has solid white teeth and a curled dark pink tongue. The new version switches that up with off-white teeth, a brighter, fleshier pink tongue, and a bonus, the main head sculpt has an articulated jaw, which neither of the head sculpts have for the retro version. And as you know, this head sculpt has the same granular, highly detailed scales as the first one, with the dark wash mainly hitting the brow and the top of the head, just like the other new sculpt, something the retro version doesn't really have. This version also has the fixed open mouth, showing off the fleshy interior and the off-white teeth. Meanwhile, the retro Lizard's open mouth head sculpt has that curled tongue sticking out, and its other head sculpt has a mouth that is somewhat open, and only the tongue is visible. And in addition, the hunchback design on the new version is amazing, which as you know is not present on the retro version. As for the shirts, the difference there is pretty obvious as well. The old version's black shirt is completely untouched, while the new one is completely tattered, with the pecs even showing through. Also, the shirt on the new one has a stronger black finish, whereas the old one is more of a flat, matte black. The lab coat is another big change. It's heavily damaged on the deluxe version, matching the torn up shirt, while the old version's coat is mostly intact, with damage only around the sleeves. The lab coat is completely white on the new version, but not so much for the retro one. The retro coat is more flexible, whereas the new one is decent, but a bit stiffer. Lastly, the pants. The new version has tattered medium purple pants with an orange button, while the old one goes with a deeper purple and stays mostly clean, except near the bottoms. Also, another key difference is the leg structure, as the new version has very bent legs, while the retro version has upright legs. Now, looking at the arms, hands, legs, and feet, they almost share that classic lizard green color, though, like I mentioned with the head earlier, the new version skin is just a tad bit darker. And just like his head sculpts, the new version's arms, hands, legs, and feet also rock the super detailed granular scales, while the old version scales are bigger and less detailed. But honestly, the retro one still looks great. As for the tails, you can clearly see the scaly segments on the retro version, while the new ones are tiny and super detailed, just like they are all over the figure. And the retro tail is articulated with a bendy wire, adding to posability. And just to add, the retro version comes with 2 chemical potions and a set of alternate hands, but the new one obviously does not. So there you have it. These are the main differences between the figures. One straight out of McFarlane's comics, all monstrous, hunchback, and feral, while the other sticks to a more classic, tamed comic look. Both are amazing in their own way and have plenty of charm. The deluxe comic-based lizard really stands out with granular scales, sharp features, and darker, more menacing vibes, while the retro version keeps it clean, simple, and iconic. The retro figure is detailed too, but the new one feels alive and intense in a whole different way. At the end of the day, I love the retro version, and it ranks high in my opinion as one of the best Marvel Legends in recent memory. But the deluxe one wins for me, as the sculpting, textures, and overall monstrous design just make it a showstopper, and the insane attention to detail really sells it. Alright, now we're going to start viewing the figure in some poses. Then here's another view of the main head sculpt. Next up, the alternate head sculpt. Here's another shot of him in action with the alternate head sculpt. And lastly, another view. And for some size comparisons, here he is alongside some standard size Marvel Legends figures, which obviously in this case are Mysterio and Spider-Man. And then here's how he scales with some other deluxe figures, which as you can see are Nimrod, Juggernaut, and Venom. Alright, articulation time. The head moves up super easily. It goes down pretty well. It swivels with no problem. And it turns from side to side nicely. The neck has an amazing range too, which lets the head move even more nicely. The mouth is articulated as well, which you already know. The arms reach up this far. Full arm rotation, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, plus a wrist swivel and a hinge. There's an ab crunch, and he bends forward extremely well. Bending back is basically a no-go because of the hunchback and the coat, mostly the hunchback. There's also a waist swivel. The legs can go out to the sides this much. They kick forward really well, and they go back a bit. You get a thigh swivel. The knees are double jointed, but because of the curved leg design, the lower legs don't bend back very much at all. and they can't reach the back at all, which is pretty much expected. We already know how the tail moves. As for the feet, they go up nicely, then down extremely well. They have an ankle pivot, and there's toe articulation. Very nice. For the secondary head sculpt, it moves just as well as the main one. So it looks up nicely. It goes down this far, which is actually better than the first one. It swivels very well, and it looks side to side with no issues. As always, the neck adds to the movement. Alright, that's a wrap on the deluxe Marvel Legends Lizard, aka Dr. Curt Connors. And wow, what a figure. From the nice packaging to the insane head sculpts and body sculpt design, this release really nails the sinister and monstrous essence of Lizard. The sculpting on the granular scales, the hunchback posture, and the tattered outfit all scream McFarlane's monstrous take on the character. And everything looks phenomenal with the figure, including the color finish as well. Posability is solid too. With both an articulated tail and jaw, they really bring the figure to life. As for the articulation, it's decent, and its limitation in the range of movement in the torso and legs can be expected due to the hunchback and curved legs. So, compared to the retro version, the deluxe Lizard just feels bigger, meaner, and more intense, capturing that predatory comic book feral energy perfectly. And I do love the retro version for its nostalgia and charm, but this deluxe edition wins for me thanks to its jaw-dropping design and attention to detail. So, whether you're going for display, action poses, or a full Spider-Man showdown, this Lizard is a total showstopper, and I would definitely recommend getting this beast. So, with that said, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and please leave a like and subscribe.